So the last time that we spoke was at Muse Inc. last year. How have you been, and what have you and the band been up to?
Yeah, boy, that seems like a lifetime ago. Obviously, we finished a new record, and that came out, 2020 Vision. We kicked off the new year by touring Europe, and then we started touring in the U.S. right before kind of the pandemic took precedent over all life here, and obviously, like so many others, our life came to a grinding halt, and now we're right in the midst of that. So we're back home in Pittsburgh, and like everybody else, we're waiting things out and just trying to do the best we can with the situation we're in.
You just mentioned your new album that came out in January 2020, Vision. Can you tell me more about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really an indictment. It's an indictment of President Trump and everything his presidency stands for. Specifically, well, there's so many issues. I mean, the racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, just the bigotry overall, the xenophobia overall. The fact that he talks about representing average people and working people, but he's actually part of an elite class, and he, as a member of that elite class, worked very hard to make sure that there would be a tax cut for the top 1% that would benefit them greatly, which he did. There's a massive tax cut given under his administration. It's overwhelmingly benefited the top 1%. The tax cuts in that legislation are permanent for the rich, where for the poor they were just a one-time tax cut. So I think it's important that people think about these things and use some logic and try to figure out whose side President Trump is on. Now that we're in this pandemic, what we see is that he's not fit to lead the country. He is continuously putting out false information. He's continuously making things up, which means that he's lying about what's happening, and he's threatening people's public health. So sort of the record, I think kind of warns about the kind of state that we're in right now, warns about other issues as well, but we're living now in a very dangerous time, and President Trump is a big part of that.
Yeah, and on this album, you worked with Matt Good. What was it like working with him? Because he was in a band that was totally different from your band.
Yeah, well, we had the songs written when we went to Matt. We understood that Matt was an engineer and producer who had worked with a lot of modern sounding bands. He helped bands to sound very modern, and we were interested in that because we believed that we wanted our record to sound like a contemporary record. The year 2020 just feels like an important year. I mean, growing up as kids, we'd see science fiction movies and they'd be based in 2020. It always sounded like, an important time in the future. It was the kind of date that would really capture your imagination. And we wanted our record for that reason to sound like a record, to sound like rock music sounds in 2020. And of course, as a punk band, we were going to bring our own flavor to that sound. So that was our main draw to Matt, that we believed he would help us fulfill that goal, and I believe that he did.
I also saw that you worked with Matt Appleton and John Christensen on the song Resistance Frequencies, and it has kind of a ska sound to it, which is something you haven't done before either. How did the idea come about for that?
Well, it was meant to be a ska song, obviously. We wrote it as a ska song. We've we've toured with a lot of ska punk bands over the years. I've been a really big fan of Less Than Jake and Real Big Fish and Suicide Machines and bands that over the years have had horns and had ska punk roots. We just kind of felt like it'd be cool to write sort of one of those roots rock ska songs in the vein of with like some tied in to the reggae roots, very much in the vein of the Clash. And then we sent the song off, and those guys got on top of it, which was really cool. We told them to kind of think about London Calling and go for it, and they did, and they did not disappoint. The horns in the song are really fun, and they're really cool. So it was exactly what we were hoping for and a lot more.
I think it sounds amazing.
Cool, that's great.
Recently, you had to announce the postponement of your North American tour due to the coronavirus. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, and when are you hoping to be able to reschedule the dates?
Well, my first thought is just that there's been an utter and complete failure of the Trump administration to safeguard our public health and to prepare for this epidemic, for this pandemic now. They had a 3-month warning, and anybody could see what was happening in China. They had more information than anybody because it was revealed that, this was investigative reporting. It was revealed that they actually, and I don't remember if it was the New York Times or the Washington Post, but there's actually an article written by investigative journalists that showed that the U.S. intelligence services warned the Trump administration months in advance that what was happening in China was worse than what China was reporting, and that the United States needed to prepare for it. And Donald Trump was saying that it was a hoax, and with 3 days up until he actually, basically up until the very last second, he was saying it was a hoax. And at one point, he just couldn't keep saying that anymore because it was obvious that it was happening. So that's the first thing that I think about, and that endangered the lives and cost lives. I have no doubt the people who could have avoided getting this illness have died, and more people will die because they did not prepare properly with public safety and public health. So they, instead of ordering the medical supplies that doctors need, they didn't do that. They didn't order ventilators, which are going to be necessary to keep people alive. So, President Trump has deaths all over his hands. That's what I think about. And, this is one of the things that I was really concerned about with him as president. And, I was not a big fan of Hillary Clinton, but I will say that when she said that Trump was unhinged and was unreliable and didn't have the kind of personality or the kind of stability that it takes to be president. And she's definitely right about that. After you look at the human cost and the human toll to it, I'm just going to use my band as a simple example. We were planning to do a tour, so we did all the work and did all the things that were necessary to start a tour, including, you put a massive investment out before you start a tour. You have to buy things, you have to spend money on travel, all these kind of things. So we did that just like many other people did, or many other businesses did, as they were conducting their day-to-day business. And really, that should have never been happening. We should have never left for tour. We should have been informed by the Trump administration, like, hey, people, we need to start preparing for this thing. We need to start preparing for this virus. This is not as usual. This is not everyday life as usual. And so, I don't feel sorry for ourselves, and I'm just using ourselves as an example, but I do feel really sorry for a lot of other people who won't be able to absorb the blow economically. There's so many jobs that people have lost that if we had any kind of warning, and businesses had properly been able to prepare, a lot of people would still have a job right now instead of dealing with this economic uncertainty. So that's sort of where I am in thinking about it. And, the president gets on TV almost every day and says things that aren't true, whether it's about certain drugs that he's saying are going to come through and really help fight this virus. I mean, he says that, and then doctors get on TV and says, well, he's talking too fast. Like, we have to test this. We don't know. There's nothing to back that up. Just like right before the virus really hit the country, he said it was going to be gone in a couple of days. Now we're in a pandemic. The guy is so dangerous, and he's so full of shit. And I honestly, I can't believe that he's president right now. And then finally, they're just passed, Congress, with the White House's approval, have just passed this giant, what they're calling a stimulus bill. It's a bailout, and it's really just a bailout to, basically it's a bailout for corporations with crumbs for the average American. We're living in a corporate country. The government is owned by corporations. It's utterly disgusting. I'm so disgusted when I talk about it like this out loud, and I just hear my own words and understand what is happening. The system is completely corrupt. We're living in an oligarchy. We're all, if you're not part of the 1%, you're just garbage in this society. That's what it comes down to. You're nothing, and that's disgusting. I'm just so disgusted right now by the system that we live in, by the government we live in, by people's worship of capitalism, which just leaves so many behind. I'm proud to be part of the unwashed masses. I'm proud not to be part of the 1%. I don't want to have anything to do with those people. They disgust me. At this point, I can't imagine that we're going to continue to go along with the kind of with society being structured in the way it is. I really hope that this will be enough that people put their foot down and demand different. I don't know if that will happen. I guess we're going to have to see where things are at the end of this. There's $500 billion for corporations in this bailout package. It's just a corporate giveaway. These companies just had a massive tax break. So that's sort of where I am. The average American is going to get $1,200 once in a check from this. I don't know many people that's going to really make a difference for. Because of Bernie Sanders, they've tacked on now another $600 to that. At least Bernie's out there fighting for the people. I have to give him credit. But when you have the entire machine working against you, it's pretty hard to make a difference in government.
Yeah, and I saw that Trump is trying to push for everything to open up by Easter, and I don't think that's going to happen, especially with how things are going right now.
It shows how dangerous he is. He wants to put profits before people.
Yeah.
That's, again, he's just saying that, you average people, you're scum. I don't care about you. Your lives don't matter. Get out there and work so that we can be comfortable. That's disgusting because, we do matter. Everybody's life matters. And, especially the average day worker that actually makes this country work. And he's just throwing us out to the wolves. I just find that it's completely irresponsible and unacceptable. And he does not deserve to be in the position that he's in right now.
Hopefully somebody else gets elected.
Well, it's pretty interesting. We saw a Sanders campaign that really represented working people, and the 1% of the Democratic Party came together and they said, no, we're not going to let our dominance over the political system be challenged by this person. And they basically, looked at the Sanders movement and they acted as if people were trespassing on their lawn. And they, all of those candidates came together and they basically did a coup d'etat during the Democratic primary to get rid of one candidate and put in place Joe Biden, who up to that point had basically been coming in third and fourth in almost every race he'd been in. So it doesn't give me a lot of hope, again, for the current system that we're living in. You realize that we just have politicians that are paid and bought and owned and who are working for the 1%, and that's that's very concerning to me. And it seems like younger people have figured that out, which is really exciting. And as younger people are becoming more aware, it seems like there's a political shift coming in this country, but it's not here yet. I'm very interested to see where we go from here. And as it's hard to believe that in this next 4 years things are going to be that different unless people actually stand up for themselves. I just don't know if people are just so brainwashed by this system that they just are willing to take it. I mean, I go overseas and people ask me all the time, they're like, how can your health care be owned by private corporations? Like, that's insane. What if you can't afford it? People overseas just don't even begin to understand that concept, but Americans are so brainwashed by it. I think that there's a great percentage of the population who are starting to wake up to that, especially young people, but I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump. I have a lot of doubts because Joe Biden is not a very strong candidate, and I think that the elite ruling class of the Democratic Party are making the same mistake that they made with Hillary Clinton. They just anointed somebody to be their candidate. They didn't listen to the process. They didn't follow their own rules of the process. They didn't listen to the people, and they just picked somebody. They picked somebody that they knew would protect their power. And, that didn't have good results last time. So, if we got another 4 years of Trump, I would not be shocked.
So last week you did a live stream on Facebook, and then Chris number 2 did one this week on Instagram, and both of you are doing a stream tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
I saw both streams and they were a lot of fun to watch, like you talking about the music and playing different songs and everything, and I'm looking forward to watching tomorrow. But
that's nice to hear.
What can fans expect with tomorrow's stream and like other streams coming up?
Well, I'm gonna try to do some different songs anytime I stream. Music has been a big part of getting me through this right now. Most people that know me, I'm a really, really big Rancid fan. It's funny. I kind of listen to probably like the Rancid and Clash every day. Like those are two bands I listen to like almost every day. They make me feel good, get me pumped to get going with my day. Over time I'll probably do a couple of covers by those bands. I think that mostly Rancid songs translate over to acoustic better for me than the Clash, at least just in the way that I figure out how to play them. So I think people can expect me to play a couple of Rancid songs every once in a while, which is cool. Maybe a Clash song here and there. And obviously, like, we're talking about really serious things right now, and I think it is important that people, start to think about these issues, because when this is all done, we're going to have to make some really difficult choices. But also, there is a point where we also need a break. We need music and art and just each other to help give ourselves a little escapism. So, and when I'm doing live stream stuff, it's a chance for me just to more get lost in music and what it means to me and what it represents for me than to get too overtly serious about the political aspects of this. But I will, to a certain degree, talk about the things that we're talking about. But I know, right now, I don't think everybody wants to hear about politics. If they want to hear about politics, they can find this interview and listen to it. And thank you for giving me the platform to discuss these issues. If they want, a lot of people are tuning in the live stream. They're just like, yo, man, let's fucking rip some tunes. So I don't have to think about what's going on right now because it sucks. So I think that's a valid feeling if people are feeling that way.
Do you think at some point you'd be able to get the whole band together to do a stream, even if it maybe is everyone on webcam in a different place?
Well, there'd be no way to do that because we wouldn't all be in time with each other.
Well, you could just do a chat stream like that.
Yeah. Well, we could if we were just gonna talk. We wouldn't be able to all play together, but yeah, we would definitely be able to talk, and that's a good idea. We haven't talked about that. I really like that idea. Thanks. It's not on the schedule right now, but we're having a weekly meeting, and we've scheduled a weekly meeting for ourselves now, where we just make sure that we all talk on the phone together, and just gives us a way that everybody checks in with each other and make sure that everyone's okay, and that we're not needing to touch base on anything important or that anybody needs anything. So I'll bring it up. It's a good idea. I like it. Probably won't happen for a while, but I think there's a good chance that it'll happen. I do think that this is going to go on for quite some time, so I think we're going to have plenty of time to get to that.
Yeah, and also I wanted to ask, you haven't done the podcast in a while.
Yeah. Obviously, with this situation, there's, the podcast is on hold, but we will come back to it at some point, and I just don't have any updates on that. But it'll be coming back. It's just, it's on hold for now. Yeah,
every once in a while I check to see if it's on, but it's always a repeat.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say it. It's we'll get back to it, but it just hasn't happened yet.
And I've been hearing some of your new songs on Faction Punk on Sirius XM, heavy rotation.
Cool.
And that's awesome that you're getting a lot of airplay on there, because a lot of radio stations don't seem to play a lot of punk music.
No, yeah, it's nice. Anytime there's any venue that's supportive of punk rock music, that's exciting to me. So I'm grateful for that. What are the main songs that you're hearing on there?
Christian Nationalist, Hate Conquers All, and they've been playing a lot of old stuff too.
Cool. Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Hopefully they start adding some more.
I'd love to hear Unbreakable on there right now. We'll have to work on that.
During this time while we're all in lockdown and nobody's able to tour, I saw that you did a thing to help raise money for your crew.
Yeah.
So, can you say where they can go to donate money, and if there's anything else they can do to help you and your crew?
Absolutely. People go to AF Records. That's our record label. So our record label is AF Records, and just go to afrecords.com. And we wrote a bio of each of the guys on our crew and explained how they fit into the band, and it was pretty fun. It's a little breakdown of everybody. And those guys mean a lot to us. Some of them have been with us for years years and years. I mean, gosh, probably Mark, who's kind of like our oldest tenured crew member. I mean, I probably known Mark for 20 years, and he's somebody that's always been supportive of the punk community, and gets out in his own community when he's at home. I mean, he's just really an incredible, inspiring person. Really cares about people, and it's important for us that our crew represent our values, and just that they're people that care about more than just themselves. And I love that about our crew. They're special people, and just like everybody else right now, they're struggling financially, which obviously is it's troubling to us. It just stresses me to know that people are struggling financially. I mean, even as a band, I mean, none of us are wealthy. We're a working class band. We've been lucky enough to make a living playing in a band, but I don't have like a big savings. I can't afford to not be on tour for a long time, and if I quit the band tomorrow, I'd go get a job. I mean, so everybody out there, for the most people out there, I should say, are having a hard time, and it distresses me when people who we feel responsible for directly are struggling. So obviously we want to do what we can to help those guys, and they're people that they're people that are deserving of help, like so many others out there. So if people have anything to chip in, I know that everybody's tightening the belt right now, and that's understandable. I will say though that we did get donations to those guys, and that was really inspiring to see that even in tough times, people have been giving donations, and that means a lot to us.
Yeah, like that's awesome that people are still able, even if it's not a whole lot of money, to help out, because
absolutely, and unfortunately, there's just not real relief right now from the government, which there should be. And they always find trillions of dollars for corporations. They never find trillions of dollars for people. I mean, and other countries, some countries are doing 100% of people's pay. Some countries are doing 80%. America's doing a one-time payment to people. I mean, in other countries, they've frozen mortgages. They've frozen rents for apartments. There's no evictions. What I really believe is going to happen in this country is what always happens in this country, which is that the rich are in a position to take advantage of a crisis, and they will, and they'll use it in the end to enrich themselves and to rip people off. I mean, during the Obama administration, they didn't protect homeowners, they didn't protect renters. They let vulture capitalists come in and buy up houses really cheap that people used to live in, put people out in the street. And it's one of my biggest criticisms of the Obama administration. They let bankers foreclose on people's homes. That was totally wrong. And ultimately just consolidated more and more wealth into the hands of very few people. And I'm very concerned that that's going to happen again. This time it's like 2008 all over again. And there's a lot of people that are not in a good position right now. We actually, we need a government that actually looks out for the people and protects people, not looks out for the interests of the wealthy and actually helps the wealthy take advantage of people. There's a book written about this very thing. It's called it's written by Naomi Klein, and it's called Disaster Capitalism, and it talks about how this happens, and people should read the book. I can't, the actual exact title of the name for me of the book is not coming to me for some reason, but I believe it's called The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. It's written by Naomi Klein. If you do a simple web search, you'll find it. I recommend that people read it. Oh, that's what it's called. I'm sorry. It's called The Shock Doctrine. The Rise of The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. So that's the title. The title is The Shock Doctrine, and it's a really insightful book. And knowledge is power, because when you understand how the wealthy elite of our country will take advantage of this situation to benefit themselves at the expense of others, we can prepare for that and fight back against that. We can organize to fight back against that.
Is there anything else that the band is planning for this time, like to do besides live streams, or?
Well, we did release a video for "You Make Me Sick." It was pretty cool. If you check out some of our feeds, you'll see that on there. And there's a political statement in it, which I think is pretty cool. So people might want to check that out. We're kind of planning. We're in some early stages of talking about some things, but I don't have anything to share right now, unfortunately. And things are pretty up in the air for a lot of people. That includes us. So we have to see where we're at and how things shake out. And obviously, we're hoping for the best for everybody. We're trying to help out as many people as we possibly can. And that's the goal right now, is just to look out for each other. I think if everybody is helping each other and doing smart things for themselves, practicing social distancing, washing their hands, if you got to be out in public. So those things are really important. For me, I've got an elderly father who I'm, concerned about looking after, and so I'm in self-isolation right now so that I can go spend time with him. I just, because there's not enough testing available, I can't know for sure if I'm positive or not, so I have to wait this time out, and hopefully I'll be healthy and I can go help to take care of my dad. So that's important to me. Before I was in self-isolation, I was out trying to just make sure that people had what they needed, and trying to help as many people as I possibly could. And I saw a lot of other people doing the same thing, which was really cool. I think that what is inspiring about this time is people really are looking out for each other. It's not like in the movies where everybody gets their guns and everybody is marauding and all out for themselves. I mean, it was really inspiring to see that people are trying to help one another, and there's not a lot that we can do for each other, but what people can do, they've been doing it. You see people shopping for the elderly. I see people just touching base with their neighbors. So those things are important right now, and that gives me a lot of faith, at least in humanity, at a time when I would say our government doesn't have our best interest at heart.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people helping their neighbors and stuff, and my neighbors check in on me and everything, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. My neighbors did, and I checked in on other neighbors, and that's really cool. And everybody knows, like, hey, if you got a problem, let us know. And I think that's really awesome. And also, the people who are donating supplies to hospitals, because our government did not plan for this. That's really inspiring too. I'm very close to a couple of medical professionals, and they have masks coming in just from regular people up the street. They're like, hey, I found these masks at my house, here you go. I mean, like, you need them more than I need them. That's really, really cool, and that means a lot, so that's exciting.
I've actually been seeing people on Instagram making a bunch of masks to take to the hospitals.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, some people have the means to do that, and some people are doing those things, and that is so cool. Yeah, definitely. That's really inspiring.
This doesn't last too long, and things can start getting back to normal, but I have a feeling it's going to last for a little while, at least.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the important thing is to stay in touch with people, talk to people. My family has started to do a video conference call every night, and it helps just to see people's faces, just to touch base, I've told people, if you need to, just give me a call if you just want to talk, or hop on FaceTime or whatever it might be. It does help to see people's face. If you're allowed to in your area, and you can just go outside and take a good walk, get some exercise in. That's really great. Put a mask or a scarf over your face, not because that won't protect you if it's not an N95 respirator, but it will help you from spreading your germs to other people in case you're infected. I think the other thing that helps right now is to kind of make a schedule for yourself and stick to it. Like, hey, I go to bed at this time, I get up at this time, I try to eat at this time, because otherwise it's really easy to just get kind of lost, before you know it, you're just kind of like this, wandering, lost kind of soul.
Yeah.
Existing, and decide to learn about something, like pick a subject, learn about something that you're into, all those kind of things. I've been learning new songs on guitar, which is really cool, trying to write new music, which is cool, so, pick something that you're into, and try to do that. So there's things that you can do to keep your mental health good, and your physical health as well. So those things are important right now.
Is there anything else you would like to add or tell your fans?
No, actually, I'm gonna go on a social distancing walk here. So I'm gonna try to get myself out, and I'm gonna meet somebody for that. But we're gonna keep a healthy distance away from each other. Luckily, where I live in Pittsburgh, we're able to go out and do that right now, so that's cool. And it's a pretty decent day outside, so when I hang up the phone with you, that's what I'm gonna do. And but the main thing for people is just please try to stay positive, keep taking care of yourselves, and humans have been through this kind of thing before, and they got through it. My heart goes out to anybody that's really had a hard go right so far. And some people have had the worst thing happen where they lost somebody that they love, and that's terrible. And my heart really goes out to people. So this is a really difficult time, and but I just hope that people do their best to take care of themselves and take care of others, and I do believe that we will get through this in spite of the lack of preparation from the White House, and the total letdown and failure of this current administration to protect public health.
Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Sure, it's great to talk to you. Glad to hear from you, and take good care of yourself, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on the road sooner than later.